Bobsy.
Welcome to another episode of the My Brother Show. I am your host, Maurice Fresh. I'm really excited to be back into it. If you've been following me on Facebook, on whatever platform you've been following me on, you know I've been doing a series on how he became him, where I've been talking about your everyday man, the man you walk by on the street, the man you see at work, the man you work, the man you drive next to, the man you see at the bar, the man you see in the mall. I've been talking to your everyday men, just figuring out how they became the person that they are today. And I'm really pleased to be recording. This is the 5th episode of this series. Just a quick little couple housekeeping things before I introduce my guest. Firstly, as you see scrolling down there at the ticker, you go give us a follow at the My Brother Show on Instagram. That way you can stay updated with everything that's going on with the show, every new episode, every new release. Just give us a follow there. Subscribe if you're on YouTube. Subscribe on YouTube. Please. And then I just want to give a couple of shout outs for some people. So you see I'm wearing this hat right now. This is from a sister Keena that I met at an event this past weekend. She does branding, she does logos, she does things like this. So I got an opportunity to get a hat from her. And I get to wear this to support my sister Keena. I'll post the name a little bit later on in the episode, but support my sister Keena for her hat. And then if you watch that beautiful intro that I have, the beat on it is actually from a brother of mine named Daquan Freeman. He's no stranger to the show. He was actually on the first episode I ever recorded. Daquan Freeman, Vibesy Beats. Go ahead and give him a follow and a like. The brother is really talented. So now here we go. I get to my favorite part of this episode. And y'all know this. If you've been watching, you know I say this every single time I get an opportunity to record. This is my favorite part of the episode because I don't ask anybody for bios. I get the opportunity to introduce people just based on how I feel about them. And I feel like this is my opportunity to give any of my guests their flowers. Because we don't do that enough in the male community. So I met this brother at the same event, honestly, that I met the sister Keena at. I'm a little awkward when it comes to networking sometimes. So we all from a rough area in the city. I'm from a rough area in the city, and I'm from an area where you just don't talk to people that you don't know. So I'm at this event. I don't really know anybody there at this point. And the brother walked up to me and just introduced himself. We hit it all. He's doing some amazing things in the city. Amazing things, amazing. Literally is being the solution to the problems that we all complain about. I connected with him on IG. I connected with him on Facebook. We messaged back and forth a little bit, and he agreed to be a guest on the show. He's the founder of the Native Hussle Movement. He's a great guy. I just got nothing but good vibes from him. Literally nothing but good vibes. And those are the kind of people that I need in my corner. Those are the kind of people that we should all have in our corner. So without further ado, I get to introduce my brother, Marc Anthony. Marc.
Yes, sir. I appreciate the words, man. I'm truly humbled by the words, man. And all that humble, awkward stuff you talk about, man, it just flowed. The conversation flowed, man. It's very nice meeting you, man. And I felt like you accepted me, you know what I mean? And I appreciate that.
Like I said, there ain't enough of this in our community, brother, man. We got a lot of killing, a lot of down talking, a lot of shooting, a lot of dumb stuff. But,
Too much.
Right. It's not enough uplifting of another brother. So it's literally why I don't ask anybody for a bio, because I just want to get people our flowers. Because at some point, I'm not going to be able to do that. And I want you to be able to look back at this video and be like, that brother, appreciated me. So
Yeah, well, that uplifted me, man. The words uplifted me. I truly appreciate it, man. Just to be accepted within a conversation is hard to get these days. So coming from you, man, I really, really appreciate it, man. You fit right in at the networking event. You fit right in.
I'm working through it, man. That's actually what I do for my day job is teach young adults how to network. So I've been challenging myself to do a little better at it. But no. Without further ado, man, let's jump into the convo.
That's what's up.
How did you become you? Who is Marc Anthony? How did you become you?
Man, Marc Anthony, man, just a young man. I was born in the Bronx, New York, came to Philly when I was 2. I'm 39 years old, or 39 years young, because they say you're only as old as you feel, and I feel real good. I can still get out on the court and in the field with these young boys. So, yeah, man, I just been in Philly and all my life, and just growing up, you know, I had my own little traumas and things like that, my own little hardships, but, you know, within the people that I've come in contact with, my classmates and just strangers, and talking and hearing people's story, you know, my struggle doesn't tap the surface of a lot of struggles that we deal with in the inner cities, you know, especially as youth, you know what I mean? And, you know, so I turned my traumas into my strength and my motivation to just be a good person with integrity and stuff like that. And like I said, being 39, I worked for the city for about 10 years. And within the city, I had a union. And the union had a ton of resources. You know what I mean? Just a ton of resources. And I found myself not taking advantage of the resources at all. Just working, getting my nice paycheck, going home, taking care of my kids and my wife and things like that. And that was it. I was just living my good life. We go on vacations, we go on the movies, we do date night and all that. But every time I step outside, you know, my neighbors was in trouble, or somebody was going through something, whether it be traumatic, whether it be physical violence, whether it be their parents, their aunties, somebody abusing them, just all types of things going on in our hood at a high level. And it just made me tap in and try to use my resources to try to help in any way. You know what I mean? You know, I'm one of them impulsive people where I want to do things grand sometimes. And I've been blessed to realize that any small thing helps. You never know what that small thing could do. So just tapped into my resources at my union. And then George Floyd happened. And Corona happened, and I got a lot of time to myself, and everything that I prayed for, as far as us as a community, something came to me to like try to start my own thing, you know. Like I said, during Corona, I had a lot of time to myself, so I started watching documentaries on everybody, history, you know, the Black Panthers, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X is my favorite, so I already knew his history, and even John F. Kennedy, you know, and I let it galvanize me to try to create a strategy to make an impact in these hoods and in our own way. So that's what did it, man. A lot of time to myself, a lot of studying, a lot of research, and pen to paper, and come up with a plan A to Z, and then try to implement it. And that's what the Native Hussle Movement is about, man.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Tell me a little bit more about, you know, the Native Hussle Movement, what it is that you do on a week-to-week basis, and how you're making a dope impact on our city.
So basically, I just got off an initiative called Operation Hug the Block, where we started August 22nd and we ended election night, or election day, I should say. And basically that was just a group of men and women that were concerned and cared and heartfelt about the same things I'm talking about, the struggles in our community. And we just try to bring neighborhoods together. We went to 77 of the most impacted blocks by violence, designated by the DA's office, Larry Krasner's office. They had the most shootings since 2015. So we was in Kensington, we were in the Northeast, we were in South Philly, we came to my hood in Southwest, which gave me more motivation to do the things that I'm doing and strategize different initiatives. So that just ended November 6th. But what it did was create like a blueprint or a model for us to further that initiative with community members. You know what I mean? To get out there in their own neighborhoods where they're respected, and the young boys listen to them. You know what I mean? And so we that's one thing we're doing. Obviously, I'm an advocate for the wrongly convicted or the wrongly treated by the police and things like that. I believe that is a huge problem in our community that I'm a fight for to the death of me, because I am a victim of police brutality. You know what I mean? Where I'm at right now, this is my house. I've been here 15 years, and I was beat up in front of my house. You know what I mean? By two cops that had the same complexion as me, if not a little darker. So that was another thing that brought awareness to the movement and to do something. You know, because once I sued the city, I lost. You know, so you know, bad policing is what I'm against. But also, with that being said, I would like to bridge the gap between us as a community and the cops, you know, and the police officers. You know, I would like more intimate meetings, and within those lines, though, I would like to help shift the culture of policing and see if we could all, them on that side, can become more human and empathetic to our struggles. You know what I mean? And especially in the hood, stop being so forceful. You know what I mean? Talk to us, get the right resources around us. Don't just put them cuffs on us. You know, I don't know if you want me to get into it, but I just had an issue about 2 weeks ago. You know what I mean? That was traumatic for my daughter, my 10-year-old daughter. We was in the car going home with some pizza. I had the pizza on the dashboard. We was about 2 blocks away, and I got pulled over at a light. I don't even know if that's legal, because I heard you can't pull people over unless it's a traffic violation. So I'm sitting at the light waiting for it to turn green. He pulls me over, and he said, "I ran your light." No, the first thing I said was, "Everything okay, officer?" Immediately, "Well, you tell me, is everything okay?" That right there is what we gotta stop doing. You know what I mean? Let's be man to man, human to human. So make a long story longer. He pulled me out the car. I have nothing to hide. I'm a working man, so I comply. I have relations with the same officers in his district, so I'm thinking everything cool. He ran my license plate, and it came up another identity, somebody that had a warrant. So my daughter's in the car, all my windows down. He puts the cuffs on me, detains me for about 45 minutes. I'm looking. I never got a chance to say anything to my daughter. I'm looking at her through the back of the paddy wagon, and I'm thinking she's okay. Come to find out, once they cleared my name and seen the right picture of the person that had the warrant, I go back to my car, my daughter's face all red. They had a traumatic experience. You know what I mean? And that's what we go through in this hood. You know what I mean? And I even throw one more thing in there. When he put the cuffs on me, I almost resisted as a natural reaction, because I worked all day. I'm going home to have pizza with my daughter and watch a scary movie. This is before Halloween, so we was in that. That could have went left. As soon as I would have resisted, because I resisted a little bit and I felt the cop tense up. You a good brother. I consider myself a good brother. That could have went left. You know what I mean? And that happens way too much. And I know good policing. I see it in the suburbs. That's what the hustle movement is trying to bring about. That more healthy way of life that those suburban people get to deal with, you know. So litter initiatives, everything to uplift our community is what the Native Hussle Movement is about. Any and everything, I should say.
That's beautiful, man. Like what you're trying to do, what you're doing in the city is beautiful. And you know, what you said about the police, it's crazy that when you mentioned that, I remember the story when I was like, I had to be like in my second year in college. I went to Temple, and I had just found out my oldest, my son is 14 now, but I just found out he was conceived. And I remember I was working at a car wash out in Glenside, just outside the city. And me and my homie was working at this car wash and gas station. And I was like, yo, it was hot summer day. So I said to my homie, it's hot today. right after I said that, a delivery truck pulled in to the station, and I'm like, all right, well, cool, you know, like package here. So I called my boss, yo, a package just got here. What should I do with it? She said, just sign for it, and I'll come and pick it up in a second. I said, all right, no problem. Like, you know, I'm just an employee. Sign for it, pick it up, go back to my home. Yo, I'm hot. I'm about to run down the street to Wawa. You want something? He said, yeah. When you get there, call me. Walk into Wawa. I remember this small, elderly white woman. I feel like my music just got real loud. Let me turn that down a little bit.
It was cool. It was a little soothing a little bit. I ain't gonna lie.
I walked into the Wawa, this elderly white woman. She had to be about 4'9". Walked up to me and was like, hey, can you grab me some milk off the top shelf? I'm like, cool. Grab the milk, give it to her. Hi, I'm feeling good about myself. I just helped the woman get her milk. I look over, eyeing me. I look over at the officer. I had a red shirt on. He was in the walk. He said, red shirt, got him. Walked over and straight cuffed me. I'm confused. Like, what did I do? Like, I didn't do nothing. I just went to the store. I just helped this elderly woman out. I'm thinking, like, maybe she was a mole. Maybe, you know what I mean? Like, maybe she was stealing the milk and they, like, I don't know what's going on. Take me out to Wawa. I remember I had my brother's car at the time. I was worried that his car was going to get towed. So I'm like, yo, that's not my car. Like, let me at least go park it somewhere where it won't get towed before y'all take me. Like, he's not telling me nothing. Legit not telling me nothing. Finally, he pulls back into the station. The whole station is flooded where we worked at with officers. Confused. I don't know what's going on. Still, to this moment, I'm just sitting in the back of this cop car handcuffed. Like, I still don't know what's going on. I'm like, dang, yo, like, this is definitely wrong identity. Make a long story longer to quote you.
That's how it go, man. We need the details, man. We need the details.
They take me all the way down to the station out there, and it turns out the package I signed for had drug paraphernalia in it. I didn't know that.
I figured that.
So I don't know that. I just, you know, like you heard my theory. I called my boss. Yeah, what should I do? So just sign for it. Long story, like her boyfriend was trapping, and he was sending his packages to the job, and she was bringing them home.
And they was on to it. A simple signature got you all jammed up.
With my signature, they thought I was in on the whole thing. So I'm sitting at the station, they taking my statement. And mind you, they still ain't tell me what was going on until like I'm on my way to the station. They like, oh, when you signed for that package, you got in trouble. I'm like, bro, I don't even know what's in the package. Like, how did I get in trouble for this? I'm also in suburban Philly, right? Like, I'm from North Philly. Like, I don't know nothing about the suburbs. I'm nervous. Like,
yeah, a black man in the suburbs, I don't blame you.
Yeah.
You'd be better off in Philadelphia, to be honest.
And they taking my statement, and I tell them, they said, tell me exactly what happened. I tell them, I said, well, package get here, call my boss. What should I do? She say, sign for it. I signed for the package. I ride the Wawa. They said, oh, you called her before you signed for the package? I said, yeah. They said, oh. I said, huh? They said, oh, so you was just a normal employee. That could have happened to me. That could have happened to him. That could have happened to that person. I said, yeah. They said, so you really don't know what was in that package? I said, I do not. They said, you know, we were watching it. We got pictures of you. We got pictures of y'all at the station and everything. I said, bro, I don't know what was in the package. To this day, I still don't know exactly what was in the package.
Right.
But that's trauma, right? So I agree with you when I say like that's trauma.
And you lucky. You lucky you came across someone that was understanding and not someone that was ready, willing, and able to convict you right then and there. In my situation that I told you about, there was nothing that I could say. I was like, I was in the back of the paddy wagon. Yo, I know Mr. I put his name out there, Mr. Arnold Mitchell. You know what I mean? Right. 12th district. I know him. Me and him got each other's numbers, personal numbers. We text on personal time. Great conversations. We done been around politicians together. Like, please understand that you got the wrong identity. The guy pegged me as guilty already. And in my opinion, you know, officers tell you comply. First of all, do you know how hard it is to comply as just a human being that's doing the right thing, that knows you did nothing wrong? You know how hard it is to comply when you got cuffs put on you? You know what I mean? I even said to the cop, like, do you have kids? Once I got found free, and I wish I'd have put it on camera, but I said, do you have kids? He said, yeah. I said, has your kids ever seen you had cuffs put on you? He said, no. I said, have your kids ever seen you? Well, I said, he ain't see you get cuffs on you. Have they ever seen you put in the back of a cop car? He said, no. I said, how do you think that your kids would feel if they seen that their father? Because my daughter told me, she was like, she told her mother, she told my mom, my dad's going to be gone forever. Just off a detainment. So I asked the cop, and he kept it real. He was like, they would be hurt, they would be scarred. I said, bro, so take that into consideration the next time you come across some of us. We're not, if you don't want us painting you with a broad brush, then don't paint us civilians with a broad brush, bro. We some of us actually mess with you. I don't want to cuss, but some of us actually rock with y'all. We understand y'all got a tough job, but you can't paint everybody with a broad brush. And my message didn't resonate because a couple days later, I seen him pull somebody over at the same intersection and pull the young man to the back of the trunk. Me and my daughter seen it. And just to speak to how traumatic it was, another day, some cop must have got a call, turned his lights on, and kept it moving. I looked at my daughter. I seen her jump, like as if she was in a horror movie and it was a jump scare. I said, how did that make you feel? She said, I was scared. I got scared as soon as I heard the lights. So just a detainment of a good citizen causes that public, distrust.
And that's the thing, like as our officers, we should trust that you're here to protect and serve me. And I think that the thing that I realized that for the African American community, we don't feel that way. And that's something I don't feel like the Caucasian community fully understands. Like, I get nervous when I get pulled over. I get scared when I get pulled over. I had another instance. I was driving down Lancaster Avenue, coming from Ardmore. I was driving Uber at the time. I had just dropped somebody off out there. I'm headed home. I'm driving down Lancaster. I was doing like 40. I get pulled over. Dude said, the speed limit out here. I said, honestly, I don't. It's 35. It's my guess. He said, no, it's 25. I said, oh, my fault. I'm like, legit, I thought it was 35. I'm going home. He said, well, what are you doing out here? I said, well,
that's unnecessary.
Right. I said, you see the sticker on my car? I'm driving Uber. He said, where are you coming from? I said, really, I don't know. I just dropped somebody off a few blocks away. It's 1 a.m. I'm going home now. Like, I live in North Philly. You see my address is on my ID. He said, where'd you drop him off at? I don't know. Like, I'm an Uber driver at the time. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I'm driving home. It's 1 a.m. I'm tired. And they were like, well, whose car is this? Mine. Can we see your paperwork? Yes. Here, take my paperwork. Like, this is all my stuff. But it's like,
at that point, bring out a detective, bro.
Right.
What's the investigation?
Like, the whole time I'm legit nervous and nothing came out of that on the officer side, but on my side, I'm legit like petrified on this, and like I don't do nothing. I'm legit making an honest living, driving Uber.
And you trying to operate within your fright too,
right? Like trying not to like give them attitude because I'm legit scared. I'm out ratting her. You know what I mean? I legit didn't know the speed limit. Like I wasn't even trying to be smart with him. I'm like, it's 35, right? No, it's 25. My bad. I was going 40. It wasn't like I was going 80. I thought I was going 40 into 35. So I actually was kind of like, why would you pull me over for going 40 into 35? Like I'm fine.
Don't say that. Don't show no expressions towards that, please.
But it's all traumatic, and it's crazy to think that these people who are trained to serve us as a culture, when we have to interact with them, there's this real fear that we might not make it out of that interaction. We might not make it out.
So let me
be a shot.
Please let me cut you off, because I noticed that where it says to protect and serve, it doesn't tell you who they're here to protect and serve. So while we think that cops should help us get our cats out the tree, or, help us with anything, who are they really here to protect and serve? That's a question that needs to be explored. And, if they're here to protect and serve us, then they need to change it up, and we need to have a discussion, a public discussion. But if they're here to protect, let's forget big businesses and big buildings and things like that. But if they're here to protect high class, and police them differently, because I've seen people from the suburbs get out their car. What'd you pull me over for?
Right.
Bro,
Right.
I wouldn't dare get out my car. You know, it's bad enough that I got to make sure I have my seatbelt on and make sure my hands are visible. But there's another class of people that don't even think like that. So why can't we all be afforded the same rights? You know, but we know the answers to that too. You know, there's people in the police system that are not properly vetted. You know, you didn't look back at their history as much, or maybe you did and you hired them on purpose. That question and answer, I don't know, but I know it's too much of what looks to be racist and superiority complexes. You know, I'll even go as far, you know, I had a couple friends that was close to the situation with Eddie Irizarry. He's the kid that got killed by the cop Mark Dahl. But I know people that have dated Mark Dahl. Dated, you know what I mean? And had to stop dating him just because of their uncomfortability with his open racism. What is that? What is that? Why weren't you properly vetted? You know what I mean? And if you're not going to be properly vetted and you don't want to do the work as a police system, then why don't you keep those people that's not properly vetted with their people? You know, don't bring them to the hood where they can have an effect and keep all of us back, because anything, disorderly conduct, public intoxication, anything that is a charge, if you're trying to get a job later, or if you're trying to get anything, it can hold you back, you know? And you wonder if some of these cops do it on purpose. You really wonder.
And I guess my next question for you will be, so how do you take these traumatic experiences that you have and mold the Native Hussle movement? Like, how do you do that? Because I feel like there's a lot of people who surrender to trauma, right? A lot of people who get in these experiences and they use that as, I guess, motivation to keep doing the wrong thing. Like, I'm not going to do right because they don't care anyway. So how do you take that and meld it into a way to want to be the change?
So I got 4 kids, all right? A 10-year-old, a 19-year-old, a 20-year-old, and a married 21-year-old, okay? You have to be passive aggressive in a sense. You have to balance out your message with trying to get through. You know, you can't turn people off. So with Operation Hug the Block, I've dealt with sheriffs, I dealt with a ton of police officers and built relationships. You know, to get them to hear you, it's a wall that I've noticed that they had, you know, and I try to listen. You know, I try to be receptive, and I try to have answers that's not just like in a defiant way, you know, because I could easily say, oh, all y'all cops do X, Y, and Z.
Right.
I know that's not true. But what I will say is too many of y'all. You know, you see how I changed it? You know, too many of y'all. One is too much, officer. You know, one is too much for us to experience. You know, so I try to be passive aggressive in a sense. So whereas though I'm receptive, so I'm already going to be listening to you. But from my experiences, it's hard for cops to listen to us. So I just try to, you know, create a method to where as though, you know, they feel heard, you know, and I try to get my point across. And I've been heard, but this is the problem. It's way too many cops where there's nothing I could say. There's nothing I can say, bro. Comply, listen to us, respect my authority. That's not the way it should be. We are citizens, you know. We don't deserve that type of treatment, and that's what we get in the hood. So going to these meetings, man, and trying to bridge council members and state reps with cops and civilians, trying to have that influence is what I'm trying to do to, you know, change the culture. You know, and Philadelphia first. You know what I mean? That's really what I'm about, you know. Like we said, it's a small city and everybody knows everybody. Well, good. Let's use that to our advantage. Right. Let's get these state reps in here. Let's get these block captains in here. Let's get these ward leaders in here. Let's get these cops and sergeants in here and the community relations cops. Let's all be together and talk as one. And because these civil affairs officers and these community relations officers, they are on the same type of time as us. They just can't say it outwardly. But tell your fellow man, come on, let's change this up a bit. You know, every man you meet in the hood is not guilty upon meeting him. You know, every man, give him the benefit of the doubt a little bit. That might help the cause of everything. That might help the traumatization of their kid that just seen their dad get locked up or their mom get detained. You know, that might help. Every little thing helps. But care about the neighborhood you are patrolling. Care about it. That might help.
And again, shout out to you for being the change that you want to see, man. I feel like we live in this era of posting online. We live in this era of sharing a post. We live in this era of maybe reposting something with no actual movement, right? No actual action on it, right? Like, so shout out to you for getting in those meetings. Shout out to you for hugging the block. Shout out to you for being about the putting the action behind the words, because I think that I talk to a lot of people, and it's in particular around like election time. I'm like, oh, vote, and they're like, oh, my vote doesn't matter, and I'm like, well, what do you do to follow up? Like, you elect somebody into office, then the next time you reach out to them, it's the next election, which is 4 years from now, right? Like, what are you doing to hold them accountable to the promises that they made when they ran their campaign? Get in those meetings, write them letters, give them phone calls, leave them voicemails. If more of us did that, we can see that change that we want to see. But we just live in this era of, oh yeah, I share Mark post, so I'm doing my duty. You know what I mean? Like,
well, and it does feel good sometimes when you share those posts. It feels good because you did do a little something, but like you said, do something behind that post.
Right, like get in those meetings, go to those community meetings, give them a phone call. Me and one of my boys, maybe the first year COVID hit, me and one of my boys, he legit hit me up and he was like, yo, I'm tired of all this gun violence. I said, so am I. He said, let's do something about it. I said, what you want to do? He said, let's put a Stop the Violence march together. I said, cool, let's do it. All we need is a location, a date, and a time, and we'll do it. He said, cool. We picked a date. I made a flyer. We marched from Broad Gerard to Center City.
Nice.
We marched alongside Malcolm Kenyatta. We marched alongside Sharif Street. We had a police escort down the middle of Broad Street.
Wow.
To City Ave.
Y'all organized that?
Yeah. I asked him, I said, yo, how did you get heat? To his credit, that's my boy James Fobbs. He got Sharif and Malcolm there. I said, how'd you do that? He said, all I had to do was call him.
That's it.
I said, what? He said, all I had to do was call them and say, hey, this is what we're doing. And they showed up.
Those mouths don't get fed, bro.
Right. So that was the moment for me of realizing how easy it is to get people with power on your side, to get in their face. Like, everybody not the president of the United, every politician isn't the president of the United States with that level of busyness. Like, these council people, these state reps, they're waiting for the calls. Especially if you're doing something positive. Like, why wouldn't they want to walk with us against the violence in Philly? You know what I mean? So
and they have more authority than the president. You know, they can really help us, you know? So imagine building relationships with those people too. That's something Operation Hug the Block afforded me, to meet these council members and build a relationship, get a phone number, get an email. You know what I mean? But I will say a lot of them are ready, willing, and able to hear us out, like you said. Their offices are right there in our neighborhood. If you go to Fresh Grocer, go ahead and go to their office and see what's going on.
Right.
You know?
Right. And I just think that, you know, like, reposting, like you said, reposting is great. You feel a little bit better. You feel like you did a little bit of work. But if you're really tired, like, call them. I mean, how many phone calls you make to your homegirl, to your homeboy, to the girl that you're trying to smash? You know what I mean? How many phone calls to your job when you're trying to call out? To all these other people, like, call your state rep. Talk to them for a half hour. You know what I mean? Like, I've sat on hills sometimes with T-Mobile or with a customer service rep for a half an hour. Just holding, not really not doing nothing. You could call your state rep.
Multitask, y'all. When you cooking dinner and prepping dinner, just you know you're gonna be on hold. Just go ahead and stay on hold right there while you prepping dinner and all that. You know what I mean? Another thing too, though, is it's so much knowledge in this world. You know what I mean? It's so much things to obtain. It's overwhelming in my opinion. But instead of, try to learn your candidates and things like that. But also, if you know somebody that got a good heart that would be in a good spot to run, get them to run. You know what I mean? Why not think about a different political party? In other countries, there's more than just two political parties or three. We got Republican in the US, we got Republican, Democrat, and Independent. We got Green Party as well, right? But there's no rules against more. Let's do the footwork. Let's create our own. Let's create different judges and block captains and ward leaders, to have resources and support anything that uplifts the community. Let's nominate your uncle who has a great heart, and he has a great heart. Let's see if we can find our family and support him. You know what I mean? That way, we know where it's coming from. Let's promote that good heart and get more people behind them. Let's change the political structure. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That's another thing the hustle movement is about. Because politics are crazy. Politics are rough. It's a treacherous game. You know what I mean? And it's hard to trust these days. It's hard to trust, even if they look good. You don't trust them these days with all the political history. You know what I mean? So let's change the political structure. Let's change the political environment. You know what I mean? Let's get involved and be political figures. Mm-hmm. I look at somebody like AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Mm-hmm. I heard she was a bartender or a barmaid of some sort before she ran. She ran against someone who lived in Utah, somewhere across country. How can you be a elected official in New York, in one of the districts in New York, but you live in Utah somewhere? How?
Right.
That's part of the problem that we're dealing with. Right. People that aren't in touch with how we hurt,
Right.
So
real, and get out. I'll tell anybody the primaries in Philly in particular, get out to them primaries. We're a Democratic city. I read the stat one day, we outnumber Republicans in Philly. It's 6-1, 7-1 Democrat to Republican. So if you don't show up in the primary and only show up in November, you're doing yourself a disservice. I actually really hate when I go to the polls and it's 4 p.m., 5 p.m. and they're like, "Oh, you're number 70." Why am I number 70? At 5 p.m. I'm the number 70. That's crazy. But it's a lot of work. It really makes a difference. It really makes it a change. Do your research. Literally do your research. I'm guilty of this myself. Sometimes not researching candidates. And Billy Penn literally every election writes an article called "The Procrastinator's Guide to the Election." And if you Google the Procrastinator's Guide before an election, it's literally like a rundown of everybody who's running and a brief summary of the platform that they run on, and what they're looking to support and stuff. Man, if I've done no research at all, I'll read that article on my way to the poll to vote, just to say, hey, I don't know nothing about who this Marc Anthony guy is, but I just read this quick little blurb and I don't agree with that. Or, I just read this quick little blurb. Okay, I can get down with that. But being mindful to do that, and you also get to read those questions. Those questions are so important, bro. I have a special needs. I think this past election, there was something on there about starting a department of, for disabled individuals. Hell yeah, I want to do that. Hell yeah, I want to do that. My son is special needs. Let's do that. But we miss these elections, and then we'll do something like complain about the sugar tax. We'll do something like complain about some of these things. And I'm like, well, where were you at when they were voting on whether or not they should do it? We could have gotten prevented that if we showed up in numbers. And I think that when me and my boy played that Stop the Violence march, it made me realize how much power we had as a people. That was just me and one homie who was able to walk from Brown and Girard to Center City. We walked literally by the entrance to 76. People couldn't get onto the expressway. Yeah. We walked by, and that was two people who were sick on it.
Love it.
So what happens if 10 of us get together? What happens if 50 of us get together? What happens if 1,000 of us get together and decide, we sick of this stuff? They ain't got no choice but to make a change. If 2 of us could do that, what could 1,000 of us do? What could 5,000 of us do? So what you're doing, brother, is dope, man. It's fantastic.
I appreciate it.
Definitely
I appreciate it.
And it really makes a difference, man. So shout out to you, man. Again,
I appreciate that. and I'll just say, I think it would have been more people able to join you if the structure wasn't what it was. You know, I know way too many people that's working 50, 55, 60 hours a week. Maybe you got kids and you did all them hours per week. How can you join us in this march? How can you join us in this fight other than digitally? If you have the energy to do that, you know, it's like in my community, in our community, you know, I mean, we in Philadelphia, we got Southwest, we got South Philly, we got North Philly, Northeast is getting bad. You know, Center City is a couple blocks in Center City that was designated on Operation Hug the Block. Where's good in Philadelphia? You know? And they make it hard for you because you're working so much, or you got kids, or you don't got the resources for your kids to go to daycare so you could do an upliftment program, or you could get your own therapy, or like we said earlier, you could get time to yourself. Everybody is like so overly stimulated. They're fatigued to help in those initiatives, you know, that you had. I remember one time I did a march for Eddie Irizarry from Cecil B. Moore to CJC. We was 7 deep. 7 deep. And like you, we shut down Broad Street, 7 deep. But I know there was way more people that was able to help. It's just the responsibilities and the sacrifices they can't make, and the outreach that we have too. That's another thing. It's the outreach and the fact that a lot of people is waiting for the next music to come out or the next club to open, and not the next movement to get behind and stuff. You know, it's rough, man. It's really rough. The conditioning is serious.
Right. And we just don't know the power that we got, man. And I think that, like, you know, like that dates all the way back, and I don't want to get too like off subject, but that dates all the way back to slavery, and that stuff. We as a people, as a culture, don't understand the power that we had, and the power of coming together, the power of support. That's how you break yokes. That's how you break, like, all these perceptions and all of these terrible things that happen in our community. Like, we gotta come together, man. Like,
but not to cut you off, bro, but another thing is a lot of people do know what it would look like to come together. But in our history, every time you bring it together, there's tragedy. There's someone getting killed. You know what I mean? So a lot of people realize it and they're scared. You know what I mean? A lot of people realize it and they be like, you know what? Is it worth it? Let me just take care of me and my family and let's live amongst this chaos. Let's have our good times amongst this chaos. You know, that's what's been set up historically. You know, I won't lie. I was a little afraid, brother. You know, I'll be for real. If all these initiatives, you know, are successful and we're able to uplift the community and, in my opinion, go against the grain of what they want hood life to look like, I'm a little nervous. You know what I mean? I might go in a bunker a little bit, you know, because it just seems it's so apparent and obvious that they don't want us to be uplifted. They don't want us to have a different way of life. They don't want us to eat healthy. They don't want us to have a sober way of life. You know, it's beer distributors and smoke shops everywhere I go now. But I go to the suburbs in Lower Merion and it's not. You know what I mean? It's easy to succumb to this neighborhood, man. People relations and intoxicants, drugs, beer, you know, bad food, you know, low vibrational food. You know what I mean? It's rough, man. It's a hard fight for us to overcome.
That's, man, like, you're right. Like, I can see a deli, I see a beer distributor, I see a wine and spirits every 3 or 4 blocks, but I gotta catch the bus to get to the bank, or, you know what I mean? I gotta drive, you know, a good stretch to get to the bank, right? Like, you know what I mean? So you can tell. It's funny. I used to work in Chester, and I remember it was a speakeasy out there in Chester. If you know what a speakeasy is basically like a place that they sell alcohol at. The
Right.
speakeasy. And like I'm watching people literally be in line. It was run by Asians, by the way, right? And I want to put this out here because we in cancel culture. I have nothing against no other race whatsoever. But it was this speakeasy run by Asians, and it's just nothing but black people waiting outside of the speakeasy to go get their drink in the morning in Chester. And I'm like, why do I keep shopping at Chinese stores if this is what they think about my community? You know what I mean? Like, these people are clearly addicts, and they have no problem pumping that poison into our community.
Yeah, getting their profits up.
Right, but I'll go out because I don't feel like cooking and grab my 4 wings and fried rice platter. Nigga, I have nothing against Asians. I'm not saying that. Like, I get it. Like, it's the opportunity to make money. You make the money. I'm not saying that they're wrong for that approach. What I'm saying is, like, we got to rethink that. It's something that I wanted to say when I was sitting on that panel on Saturday, bro. Like, we're so quick to cancel one another as a culture. You do something wrong to somebody, Mark. Yeah, I'm done with Mark. He corny bull. I'm not supporting him. Cancel him. Don't support that black business owner. We never cancel the Chinese store. It don't matter how many times they mess up our order. It don't matter how many times
they'll never cancel each other.
Right. But we quick to cancel one another. We quick to not support one another. We quick to put a post up. Oh, I hit up Mark 5 times. He ain't get back to me. But my whole thing is like, you the Native Hussle Movement. You the CEO. You the CFO. You the COO. You the marketing team. You the street team. You know what I mean? Like, you all that's by yourself. Right. And if you get back to somebody in a timely manner, I open up my Facebook page. Dang, that boy from the Native Hussle Movement talking all that stuff, but he couldn't even hit me back. What about when the Chinese store forgot your egg roll? Right. What about when your food was cold? What about when you got sick and was throwing up the next couple of days from eating a food? Right. Or opened up the social media app and said, don't shop at that Chinese store. What about, you know what I mean? Like, I never opened up the social media app and said, oh no, don't go to that Poppy store. We all know Poppy stores got cats and weird stuff walking around in there. I never opened up a social media app and said, cancel that Poppy store, cancel that Chinese store. You know what I mean? Don't shop at that Jamaican place. It's only what we do ourselves, man. Right. And it's so much power in our community if we just come together, support one another, understand. What was that? Carrabba's in Springfield maybe a year ago. I was out with my lady. And we had a black waitress, and she was bad. Like, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. She just wasn't a good waitress. She wasn't checking on the table or whatever. So my lady is the manager. For me, she's a sister. I'm not. You know what I mean, this is how you make your living. Whatever. Like, I've gotten bad service before, whatever. So my lady was like, I'm gonna complain. So she goes and complains to the manager. They take like 10% off of our bill. I still tip the sister what I would have typically tipped someone that was good. And my lady was like, why would you give her that tip? She wasn't good. I said, well, we took money from the establishment. They took money off our bill. I'm not going to take money out of that pocket. She said, oh, no, you wrong for that. I said, no, like, she's a sister. I got to have grace for her. And where I think I'm wrong, I should have pulled her aside and had a conversation. Hey, look, sister, you weren't the best. You should probably do a little better. That's where I went wrong at. But my thought process was, I don't want to take money out of that lady's pocket.
You had great intention.
Right. Like, you look like me. I'm not taking no money out of your pocket. But on the flip side of that, like, they gave us money off the bill.
Yeah.
Like, we won. They took money off the bill. I'm not taking no money out of her pocket. She looks like me. So that's my thought process when supporting like business owners. If I've got an entrepreneur, a black business owner who hasn't given me the best service, cool. I'm not going to air you out.
Yeah. You're extending grace.
Right. And we got to do more of that for one another. We got to do so much more of that for one another because we're so much quicker. Like, even think about like big business. Like, legit, the other day I ordered a blow dryer. Matter of fact, right before the event we were at, I ordered a blow dryer to do my hair. It was supposed to get delivered that Friday. It didn't come until Saturday. I didn't get on Facebook and say, I'm done with Amazon. Never shop at Amazon again. Order from Amazon the next day. But the black business owner, and that happens, then you look on Facebook, you look on Instagram, you look on TikTok, wherever you get your Twitter, wherever you get your stuff. and cancel that person. They terrible. Why didn't you get back? We just gotta do better as a culture, man.
Yeah. No, I feel you. I feel like, it's nothing wrong with holding businesses accountable, whether it be white, black, Polish, Irish, and things like that. I would say, try to be a little softer, maybe. That's just my personal preference on black and Hispanic companies and things like that. But I will say, it seems like other communities don't do that to their own. And like Italians, Irish folks, that's who I, associate with the most. I don't never see them talking bad about the Irish establishments. They might throw a little jab in there, but they not canceling. You know what I mean? They're not posting. They keep it amongst their circle. Maybe us and downplaying our businesses from black people maybe is part of our conditioning. Maybe it's part of our traumas. I don't have the answers, but I do see what you see, which is it's way too easy to downgrade and play your own people rather than step up against other people that have done you wrong. Because like you said, I got a Chinese store around the corner. My daughter loves rice and broccoli and plain lo mein. I spent a lot of money with y'all over the years when I ain't feel like cooking. You're not gonna let me go for 45 cents? Right. You're not gonna put my flyer up on your partition that separates you from us. You're not gonna let me post my flyer so other customers can see it. What is that? Are you really here to help the community, or are you really here to profit? And it's sad to say us humans, or most humans, are here for that profit. And the sad part is they can't at least let the upliftment go with the posters and the things like that and trying to uplift the community. They can't just let that slide. And what does that say about them? Is that something deeper rooted? Do you really not want the community you work in to be uplifted or have resources to further their selves and grow? It's rough in these hoods, man. It's rough. Everything, man. Cops, vendors, store owners. It's just rough. It really makes us overstimulated, man. It's hard at private, at home with your folks. It's hard in public with the people you come across with. So, again, not to go back to it all crazy, but the hustle movement is trying to navigate ways, for people to be more open and honest, and then try to find solutions. If we spill the milk, let's not talk and cry and complain about that spilled milk. Let's find a way to fix it. Oh, the milk spilled again. Let's find a way to fix it quicker. Oh, the milk spilled again. Let's find a way for it not to stink. Let's just find different solutions to where though we can go along and get along, because, beyond being a black problem or a person with melanin problem, I do think that it is a class problem. It's a ton in Southwest alone. It's a ton of Africans, Asians, black, white. We're all here. And, when we deal with the cops, we may have a different type of interaction from our skin complexion. But, other than cops, we all dealing with the same things. We all dealing with the same dangers. I know a lot of people that aren't black that's dealing with a lot of addictions, opioid addictions, and hard drug addictions. That's tough. That is tough. And not a lot of the people that I deal with, my brothers and friends and people that look like me, they're not really empathetic towards that struggle, which is a struggle. Almost cuss. That's hard. You know what I mean? So I do think that it's just a neighborhood and hood problem that, unfortunately, when it comes to policing, we get dealt with differently when it comes to black and brown. But all the other issues, it's all us, man. It's all a community, man. We're all in here dealing with the same stuff. So why not all gather up and fix it?
Hey, this is dope, man. This is real good stuff, man. I hope that anybody watching this is taking notes. I hope that anybody that's watching this could sit there and say, like, yo, I got to do better. And that's not saying that you're not doing good right now, but like, you know, I remember I was talking to a barber that I used to go to like years ago, and I was like, you know, the other cultures got a head start on us. You know what I mean? Like, they got a head start on us. So I say civil rights movement 1968. It wasn't that long ago.
No, not at all.
It wasn't that long ago. Like, we're one generation removed from that. So like, they got a head start on us. So we got to play catch up. We can't.
But look what they did. Look what they did. They broke us down since the civil rights movement. Where's the last movement since then? You know, where's the last revolutionary since then? That's why people have gotten fatigued and said, let me stay in the house because my life is in danger. Because that's what they do to people trying to uplift melanin people, man. That's what they do. Or that's what they've done. You know, that's what they've done. You know, in my opinion, we'll be stronger together. And if we could create a bunch of leaders, no matter what kind of leader you are, whatever vein you follow, it's going to be hard to take us all out. You know, it's going to be hard to take us all out. We got to commit to it. Us leaders, we got to commit to it.
So much power when we come together, man. And I think, you know, I know a lot of people got a lot of negative things to say about Kanye now, but All Falls Down is still one of my favorite hip hop songs ever. And he says in there, they made us hate ourselves and love they wealth. That's why Shorty's holler where the ball was at. Drug dealer by Jordan, crackhead by crack, and a white man get paid off of all of that. Literally one of my favorite lines in all hip hop, bro. Like,
what was that? 1.5, 2 bars? There's so much wisdom in them bars.
So that's where we're at. I always love to wrap up my episodes with this question, Mark. I say if you got an audience, you have every man on the planet. We all speak the same language. They all can hear your voice, and you get to leave them with one life lesson. What is that lesson that you leave them with, bro?
The lesson is do, man. Whatever you think is right, do it. You know what I mean? Be empathetic. Listen to your neighbor. You know what I mean? Don't be so quick to write everyone off. Move. Even if you think that, you know, what you're doing is not impactful. Like, let's say, you know, we kind of got over protest and march to a certain extent. But you never know what joining that protest and march could lead you to do once you're done. You know, give things a chance. And the one last thing I'll say is, sis, do for yourself. Please do things to heal yourself, do things to treat yourself so you could be a better person for everyone else, whether it be your mother, your father, your kids, your movement, your coworkers. Treat yourself as much as you can. Take time out your day, take time out every other day to treat yourself so you could be better for other people. I think is very important. And after you treat yourself, let's get to work. Let's get to work, because these neighborhoods need it. These inner city neighborhoods need it.
And go tell the people how they can find you, bro.
Yeah, so I got the Native Hussle Movement down on the caption, but on Instagram, it's that simple. The Native Hussle Movement, everything lowercase. The only thing spelled different is hustle, like the great Nipsey Hussle is spelled Hussle. On Instagram, my DM's always open, and how I got it written right there is how you can find me on Facebook as well, or how you can find the Hustle Movement on Facebook as well.
Hey man,
yes sir. Mark, appreciate that.
Me, and it's crazy, guys. I'll put this out there, then it'll be at the end, bro. I met him maybe not even a full week ago.
Nope.
I don't even think it's been a full week. By the time this airs, it'll probably be like a month.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
We met not even a full week ago, man. But that's to me the power of like what he's saying, right? Do interact with people, meet people, have these conversations. Don't be afraid, right? Like there's somebody somewhere who wouldn't have reached out to you like I did in the DMs. I hit him up, yo, I need you to come on the show, bro. Said absolutely. It's somebody that might think that that's D, and there's somebody that might think that that's Joe. There's somebody might think that I ain't gonna do that. I don't want them to think, yeah, I mean, weird. I mean, bro, worst thing you could say is no. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, I'm too busy. If you say no, I'm too busy, cool. But if not, you get an amazing guest, you get an amazing episode about like this one that we're in the process of filming, and you get to drop some real gems, man. They make great connections, man. So I'm looking forward to supporting your movement. I'm looking forward to getting out there in the streets with you, because like we need it, man. We need more of it. And I got 3 kids, you got 4 kids, like young kids. I got 14, 7, and 14, 6, and 1. She'll be 7 next month. So I got young kids. They got to grow up in the world. You know what I mean? Like, what am I serving them if I'm sitting out here like, oh, whatever, I'll be dead by the time y'all adults. Like, no, like, I want you to live in that world that what I had to live in. I don't want my children to have to live in the world and deal with the same traumas that I did. So
and real quick to speak to that, I was almost murdered last year. I had a gun right to my face, and I was just waiting I was looking at his face. I was just waiting for that, for it to be over. You know what I mean? I never faced that in my life. And that was last year. So as a 38-year-old man, I said, damn, that could have been it. With these 4 kids, this is the state of the world that I would have left. So every day is not promised, man. Let me get to work, do the best thing I could do, and see what I could spark, or see if we could be successful together. So just trying to spread that word, man.
No, absolutely, man. I'm glad you're still here, brother. I always say every day on this side of the grave is the day to do more work. You know what I mean? Like, when my work is done, God will call me home. But as long as I got breath in my body on this side of the grave, man, it's the opportunity to change somebody's lives, to change somebody else's world.
Sure.
And, like, I love the work that you're doing, man. Legitimately love the work that you're doing. It's necessary. It's needed. There's not enough people willing to do it, man. So again, just to give you your flowers, man. Shout out to you. Shout out to the Native Hussle Movement. Shout out to the movements you're making in our city, man. Philly, a rough city.
Thank you.
I mean? This ain't Doylestown. This ain't, you know what I mean? Like, this ain't those small cities. This ain't Wilmington. This ain't, like, where this is Philly. Like, Philly.
But let's bring it to Philly. Let's bring all that Doylestown, Jenkintown, Elkins Park. Let's bring it all to Philly, man, because we deserve it. And we human just like them. We bleed red just like them. Unless you're an Eagles fan, you bleed a little bit of green. But let's bring that to our hoods, man, so we can have a good time and enjoy life and build our kids up to be different. You know what I mean? It's necessary, and it's possible. It's possible. These kids are thirsty for something different, bro. These kids are thirsty to be heard. These kids are thirsty for us to engage with them on the things that they liked. Whether it be like wrestling or whatever, they just want you to watch it with them as a grown up, somebody to look up to. You know what I mean? They just want attention, bro. That Operation Hug the Block, walking up on kids 16, 17 years old out at 11 o'clock at night, they were receptive. They're thirsty for it. They got a hunger for it, bro. So like you said, the closed mouths don't get fed. All you gotta do is talk, bro. All you gotta do is talk. You get a lot of rewards just from talking with great heart and great intention. You get a ton of rewards from that.
And he is him. Like, Mark is him. Like, literally, that's the young kids love to say, I'm him. No, like, this is him. Like, I don't care how good you could dribble a ball, how well you could run a 40, you know what I mean? Any of that stuff, man. Like, what you really do that's going to leave a footprint in this world after you're gone, that's what makes you who you are, man. So again, shout out to you, man. I'm impressed, thoroughly impressed, man. And I'm looking forward to joining the Native Hussle Movement. So if you're watching this, you see me out there on the corners, or walking with my brother, just know, like, I'm not a talker. I'm definitely doing, like, hands dirty too. So
that's right. That's right. And hands dirty mean let's get in these rooms with these politicians and elected officials too. Let's not just protest and march. Let's be together in these rooms and hold these elected officials that have power and resources. Let's hold them accountable to what we need. Please. That's important.
Yes, sir. So All right, we're gonna wrap this joint up because I'm sure we can go for like another 5 hours, and
Yeah.
you know,
You the man.
I can
You the
legit be
man.
for like another 5 hours. So I just, if I don't pull the plug on myself, we'll be going forever.
We gonna do that off camera. We're gonna do that off camera. I mean,
I appreciate you, Mark, man. I
I
appreciate
you, bro.
I appreciate the viewers, anybody that's watching this episode, man. Go follow my brother, Marc Anthony at the Native Hussle Movement. I popped it back on the screen again. Give him a follow, please. Give him a follow. Get into these meetings with these politicians. Join the movement. Let's talk to these cops. Let's talk to these blocks. Let's make a change in the city because our kids got to live in it. Our kids got to live in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it takes somebody. It might not happen. We might not see the change we want to see in our lifetime, but it takes somebody to start, right? Like I always will say, slavery, it took somebody to challenge slavery for it to end. The first person that challenged slavery didn't make slavery end. It took somebody to start the movement. And then that thing got, and look where we are now as a culture. So let's just keep growing. Let's keep running, and let's keep doing better.
Where it takes all of us, man. Strength in numbers, baby. It takes all of us, man.
So thank you for my viewers. Thank you. Go follow my brother Mark at the Native Hussle Movement. Follow us at the My Brother Show. I'm pointing to the ticker. It's a little weird.
Follow Rush Dilla. That's a good brother right there.
and let's make it different. Thank you for viewing.
Let's do it.
Thank you for watching. I appreciate y'all joining for the next episode, which we'll be releasing next week. And love y'all. Signing off. Peace.